What up, Jets fans? Welcome to the latest edition of Jets Latest, where you get the latest on the Jets, Jets. I'm your host, the spitting statistician Dane Martinez, and today I want to talk about areas on both sides of the ball that I really think through two games and what we've seen so far in training camp are trending up for the 2026 Jets. But before we get into that, as always, I want to thank the over 3,500 of you who have gotten down and joined this Jets Latest channel. We are becoming one of the biggest, brightest, best Jets channels out there. Thank you for watching these videos, liking these videos. Tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend. And I want to thank our newest Jets fan friend, our sponsor, Kalshi. Remember, you can get $10 when you trade 10 using the promo code FANARCHFOOTBALL when you join Kalshi. I'm over here telling you things you could do with the New York Jets to get a little bit of profit in these prediction markets, but I digress. Let's get into it. The first area I actually think is definitely going to improve for this year's edition of the Green and White is the passing game. Listen, Geno Smith has shown experience, shown leadership, and looked good in his first preseason action against the Steelers on Friday. Remember, he went 7-7 for 65 yards. He had the touchdown. The ball never touched the floor. 144.9 passer rating against Pittsburgh in preseason game 2. And what I thought was interesting is that Joe Tippmann says, listen, he's seen it in practice, but then seeing it in a game as well really gives him confidence, inspires optimism and excitement for where he thinks this Jets offense can go. He said, quote, "We're definitely not there yet, but in practice and seeing Geno for the first in-game, it got me really excited about what we can do. His composure impresses me. It comes from his experience in the league. It gets me excited for this offseason." Remember, last year we had literally an undrafted free agent rookie, Brady Cook. We had Justin Fields, who's now a backup and kind of couldn't process the defenses, right? Geno Smith is very different than that. His completion rate is there. He will throw the ball downfield. This Jets passing attack should be more of a threat. And remember, last year they were near the bottom in so many passing categories, right? 2,700 passing yards, that was last. Only 26 plays of 20 or more yards in the passing game. 7 fewer than any other team. Only a 60% completion rate. That was fourth worst in the NFL. And the Jets only scored 17 and a half basically points per game. That was also fourth worst in the NFL. Let me tell you something. Geno there, along with these weapons, right? Obviously, Adonai Mitchell coming on, Omar Cooper, Kenyon Sadiq. We all expect there to be more dynamic playmakers, but really Geno being able to kind of be that point guard, that distributor is, I think, going to be a huge difference, and people are starting to see it, and it certainly looked good, again, in that first drive against the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? So hopefully we've got something going. But listen, if you don't have anything going anymore after you hit your 40s, you got that dad bod or something, a lot of people think it comes from just drinking more beer or having a worse diet. But no, that's not actually the whole story. In fact, as men get older, our bodies kind of reprogram themselves and they naturally start storing more fat, building less muscle, losing muscle a lot quicker. So that's where Mars Men comes in. It is a natural supplement designed to kind of support healthy testosterone, which can help your body burn fat, in essence, kind of make it run the way it used to run. And for a limited time now, you can get 50% off plus free shipping and 3 free gifts over at mengotomars.com. That is mengotomars.com for 50% and 3 free gifts when you check out. Tell them Jets Latest and the Spittin' Statistician sent you, to be sure. Okay, here's another area, though, I think the Jets are improving, and that is in tackling right now. Listen, so far in the 2 preseason games, the Jets have missed only 8 tackles in the 2 weeks. This, I think, is a big improvement. Listen, there were 12 different games last year where the Jets missed 8 or more tackles, okay? And I actually think, listen, there's been some definite concerns, let's say, about, the inside linebackers, at least the depth behind Davis. I expect a bounce back year from Jamie Sherwood, but them being able to run sideline to sideline, them being short tacklers, them being quote unquote tackling machines is not one of them, especially because I think they're going to be able to stay clean with, Trevondre Sweat up front, Onyemata up front, Briggs up front, Phillips up front, allowing Davis and Sherwood to make plays. And interestingly enough, national analyst kind of Mike Clay actually said that this pair, Davis and Sherwood, could be the best pair of middle off-ball linebackers in the NFL. Listen, he said Demario Davis is back after ranking 10th in the NFL with 143 tackles last season. He now has cleared over 100 tackles in 9 straight seasons, okay? And the future Hall of Famer, yes, and Demario Davis is a future Hall of Famer, will team up with Jamien Sherwood, whose 308 tackles over the last 2 years is second most in the NFL. So you got these guys who could definitely make tackles. And here's the other part. I actually think, and we've talked about this safety position, right? Dane Belton at one of the safety positions, I think adds. So up the middle, you got guys like Sweat and Briggs up front, right? Occupying the O-lineman, letting it be free for Davis and Sherwood to make tackles. But then also, I think Dane Belton is an interesting piece in this as well. Remember, Dane Belton is a very sure tackler. He had the lowest missed tackle percentage among all safeties in the NFL last year who played at least 400 snaps. He also had 100 tackles. That was 13th among DBs, all right? So I think when you put that all together, you've got a group that can tackle, and it is certainly showing out really in the preseason games. We've only missed 8 tackles through 2 games. That is a good number. The stoutness up front, Davis and Sherwood as a combo to go sideline to sideline, make plays. We know about the edge guys creating pressure, right? And then also in the back end, I've been talking about, we got Fitzpatrick and Belton, but I think, when we see A.Z. Thomas is coming on, look good. Brandon Stevens, even maybe a Nashawn Wright, a D'Angelo Pons. And this is all capped off by what I think is really important in another area, trending up for the Jets this season. And that is an Aaron Glenn calling the plays. We've heard talk about him before saying that's really what he thinks his superpower is, right? That he'll be able to kind of diagnose issues and fix it differently. Well, that has come to pass, interestingly, as well, especially with the starters on the field. In the first 2 games, listen, against Tampa, first quarter, Jets defense dominated. Against Pittsburgh, first quarter, Jets defense dominated. Look at this, okay? In the first 2 preseason games in the first quarter, the Jets have allowed a combined 40 yards, only 3 first downs, and they haven't even allowed a third down conversion to the Bucs or the Steelers in those. And this with Aaron Glenn trying to still get people to really understand what he is trying to do on defense, which is going to be a process, but so far, I think it's looking pretty good. Harrison Phillips was talking about this, right? About how he's trying to get the defense to understand what offenses do and then what we need to do as a Jets defense to kind of counteract that or stifle that or understand and scheme for that. He says, I've really appreciated that he'll explain his mindset going into certain situations. This is about Aaron Glenn. He'll ask us, what do offenses like to do? Then he'll explain, this is how I counteract that. When we're really on a roll and this defense comes together how I want it to, we should see the situation and we should know the call. In the preseason, we're not showing what we have or doing elaborate stuff. But these meetings have been really actually some of the most fun meetings I've been a part of to get into the mind of a defensive mastermind like that. There's been some times where I guess the call and I get it right. And the more guys we have like that, the better. Now, listen, the Jets are probably going to improve. Same way Geno's going to help his passing offense improve from literally towards the bottom of the league. Well, the Jets' defense was toward the bottom of the league in a number of categories, right? Points per game allowed, second worst in the league. Rushing yards per game, fourth worst in the league. Sacks, second worst in the league. Obviously, the turnovers, the non-interceptions, all of that stuff. When Aaron Glenn is going to focus on the defense, we talked about how Frank Reich is kind of the CEO and head coach of the offense on that side. He's really putting his fingerprint on this. He's calling the plays. I think it's going to be more blitz heavy. I think it's going to be more man coverage. But as you can see, so far, it really has, I guess, turned out good. And it's good to see Harrison Phillips and other veterans there. That's probably why you also needed some veterans on this defense, right? Harrison Phillips, Demario Davis, Minkah Fitzpatrick, Onyemata, and others with this idea of knowing what we need to do, anticipating what the offense is trying to do to you, and then responding. And all I know is so far in the first quarter against Tampa, first quarter against Pittsburgh, it has looked, I think, better than expected. But we are not at the season just yet, right? Because before the season, everybody's making predictions, right? How many games are people going to win? Different props, right? Who's going to rush for more yards, score more touchdowns? Who's going to the playoffs? Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Well, at Kalshi, America's #1 prediction platform, you can trade these predictions in a live market. Here's one that I'm looking at. I've been telling people. David Bailey right now is at 17% to be the defensive rookie of the year. That means if you trade $100 on it, you can get over $400 if he is named defensive rookie of the year. And here's the thing, on Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market. There is no house. So as these probabilities change, you can buy in more, you can cash out more of your position. So if you got the David Bailey now at 17%, and he winds up getting, 4 sacks in the first 2 games, and he's up to 40%, and you don't want to take the risk, you could just cash out. You could buy out in this live market, okay? So download the Kalshi app, use the promo code FANARCHFOOTBALL, and you can get $10 free when you trade 10. This is at Kalshi, Kalshi, trade on anything. All right, so that's what you got to do. Trust me, I will be giving you plenty of plays, plenty of insights to go ahead and profit in these prediction markets. As you know, that is part of what I do. Plenty of ways to get down with me, spitting statistician Dane Martinez. You can hit me on social media at Spittin' Speeds. I am the host of the FTN Fantasy Show over on SiriusXM channel 87, right? I tell you all about that. It's fantasy football draft season, time to win your leagues and win that cash. But I do a lot in these prediction markets. I am on a show called On the Record by Called It Media. We're giving you data-driven trades you can make all the time to profit in these prediction markets like Kalshi. I'm also one of these 7 oracles. Go on over to the 7oracles.com. Great content, a free newsletter that is giving you great plays and a lot of great tools, data structures, tools to actually really profit on these prediction markets. And if you use the promo code NFL Edge over at the 7oracles.com, between now and the start of the football season, we are giving you a 50% discount to become a subscriber over with my crew at the 7 Oracles. Tell them the Spittin' Statistician sent you. But if you're just here for the JETS, Jets, like I said, I love building this community and I love what you regulars have to say. So let's read out some of your comments right now. We've got Gary Hardill, 7174, who says, as preseason progresses, I'm interested to find out if the play calling can keep up for a full game. Even though it's preseason, I'd love to see some more sustained creativity throughout the quarters and more focus on the backups to avoid bad plays when we have injuries. On the defensive side, Aaron Glenn calling the plays. You talked about his ability to kind of diagnose, fix. It seems like that is taking root, especially with the starters. On the offensive side, listen, I don't want them to kind of show everything. I think having Geno in, be able to be that facilitator and seeing our weapons, whether it's Adonai Mitchell, who has good chemistry, whether it's using Mason Taylor on third down conversions, right? We still haven't even seen Kenyon Sadiq. We'll see what Frank Reich still has in his bag. We've got Old Dave, a day one regular here on Jets Latest, who says, AG is much better with the media relationships this year. On its own, that means nothing to me, but big picture, it shows humility and his ability to adjust. He's admitted what he needs to do better, and it's showing. Let's hope it translates to wins. I actually agree with this a lot, Dave. I think he is a lot more comfortable. He was a little bit like Bill Parcells-ish combative with the media last year, right? And I don't think that's the case. I think he's more comfortable in his own skin. I think he's going back to his, mastermind superpower on the defense. And also the roster is better, right? He doesn't have to worry about Justin Fields getting sacked all the time. He knows his roster is better. He knows he can take a step forward. And quite frankly, I think he knows the organization is still confident in him, right? Because they had those trades for the future picks, right? That kind of gives him a little bit of a leash as well. Then we got Cobra KJ. I might be going to the preseason game against the Giants. Hopefully, the Jets will do good. That is the next preseason game, the Snoopy Bowl against the Giants. We'll be talking about that later in the week as well. And as we go to the season, by the way, if any of y'all want to go to MetLife with the Spittin' Statistician, just hit me up. I am always down to record some videos, do some stuff with the Jets Latest people out there in the parking lot of MetLife. So that'll do it. Remember, plenty of ways to have optimism here for this Jets team, whether it is being sure on tackling, whether it's Aaron Glenn kind of putting the defense more in his image, or whether it's the passing game under Geno Smith, which we have seen. Things are looking up, in my opinion, for the 2026 Jets. I know one thing. I will be here to continue to talk about it. Tell a Jets fan friend to tell a Jets fan friend to get down and start watching and listening to this. But for this episode of Jets Latest, we out of here. Peace.